close is very likely, which means you're resting on very fine margins. A clutch here, a pistol early on that we forget about when the map is over. It could mean anything. And you know what, Bit? He turned up on Inferno in his last performance, the best that we've ever seen it. And here he is with Simple, lighting it up on the pistol round already.
Yo, they just take it straight down middle, and it's nothing but headshots. Everybody's alive. Simple's got 3 kills, and Navi make this one look easy. But it shouldn't be easy, because this is a map we've seen limitations from.
Yes, we have.
We have to be reminded that there have been limitations, but there's also been improvements.
Sure, there's been improvements. So here's the thing, right? So we've seen Bit kind of hit a power curve on this the last time they played it. The issue for Bit is that he has an incredibly complicated position on CT side. They have him filling as the extra guy who goes over to B when they need a 3B setup. He plays on lane, he plays on arch, and he plays with Simple, which means he has to rotate constantly around that op. And Simple, he likes to move. So because of that, what we've seen is a player who has come onto Navi with so much promise, and they've given him a lot of responsibility all at once, and he's failed by drastic margins in most of those matches. But then in their game versus Liquid, in a very close match, Bit was a huge part of their success and a huge reason that they're able to take the series.
Simple's been just pinned to the corner. Bit's going to come out with that MP9, trying to manage it, but sure enough, we've got 2 kills coming in from Astralis. Bomb offered over. Low HP for both device and electronic. A chance to recover, but he's about to get blindsided. We've got Boomich now trying to pick up these pieces through middle. Perfecto's over on Library. Oh, Astralis, they could rob away the second round.
Yeah, it's a plan with an extra smoke. Now they know this arch side is kind of clear. They realized that Zipix had come through short, so they're still worried about player potentially in the halls. There's one up close on this angle. He takes a big risk by playing out there. It looks like the smoke comes down, and it's a bit late now. Glaive gets spotted in the pit.
But he's got that FAMAS. He plays the Tech 9 instead. Player jumping inwards, taps at that one. Who's next? It's going to be Perfecto. Huge health advantage, and the gun goes dry. Navi, wow. They recover it.
Honestly, it's just such a nerve-wracking situation. And it's going to come down to the wire with just the defuse alone. I know you had to pause for a second to see if he even had it. That was a little bit worrying, but of course, he's still got an extra second or two. It's just fine. And yeah, it looks like around that, of course, that Glaive can get back into in this 1v2. And these kills that come out, that tactic would have actually made the difference, right? That smoke comes down a little bit earlier on lane, that one that pops right here. And the CTs can't cross safely, and Zipix on the other side of it, that's GG. That would have been actually a huge play from Astralis. And you know what? I respect the risk a lot in a situation where you're just down to where you're coming up on an eco.
Even Bit's not certain whether or not that defuse comes through.
You're going to be yeah, it's a frustrating one, but it's Navi landing on their feet, even if it's only with one player. Everybody's going to be upgrading, knowing that the buy is coming here for Astralis. They've got to make something happen on this T side. They put it together with the 2 AKs and 1 Galil. They've got very low utility, but they do have 3 smokes. I think one of those goes out. Okay, this kind of, it doesn't close the doors towards A, but it makes it a lot harder to try to take over the A side, which can be a bit more demanding in terms of utility. With the amount of utility left over, you think Astralis is going to try to find something in between, like an in-between timing, or take a dry peek and try to follow off of that. But it definitely doesn't feel like we've got any kind of full exec on the horizon. Looks like they want to try to test the waters at A. Bracket is wide open for them. We've got one inside the cubby, which could be the strongest spot of the round. They've got one player to take his attention away, and Bit, he's going to have an opponent here to fight, and Glaive the whip back. What on earth was that?
Just smashes him. Bit even hits the headshot, but AK better than. Simple eats a flashbang from Zipix, who's supporting this split into the A site. Player on bomb site itself is Electronic. 2 kills from that FAMAS. The MP9's all that's left over here for Navi. We saw that previous retake just barely slip through last round. Glaive susceptible.
The 2 worst guns that have to come in for the retake.
But if I'm Glaive, I just don't move. 9 HP.
Yep.
Oh, but he does. All right, he offers the peek.
This does open up the round a lot, actually.
Now we're even. Zipix over in pit with that MAC-10. It's the AK on site that could make a world of difference, but it's a split between Zip and Dupree to close this one out. Similar situation to the last, but this time, Astralis to the scoreboard.
They do it, yeah, but they invested with the 3 AKs, and they lose 4 players, so it's still going to be an expensive buy, and now Navi have an interesting decision to make. This is an absolutely absurd kill from Glaive. I mean, you have to you have to underscore it. That is so insanely impactful in that position, and Bit was in the perfect spot. We saw Mousesports as a reference match over in DreamHack Masters abusing Cubby versus Astralis to win over on their CT side, and I like to see that Navi's game plan has lead them over to this one position. It was such a strong spot. It was constantly in Glabe's blind spot as an IGL, I feel like, and it's interesting to see it be a part of the game plan now with Navi here on CT side.
Electronic takes to the top of the bicycle. Oh, he's taking spam damage. Down he goes. At this point, do you just cut your losses and leave?
Yeah, it was the idea to stay alive for as long as possible, but, you know, anytime he shoots, he would just instantly get zoned and killed inside of the pit. No odds here for Astralis as they fall back to the B site. Or, sorry, and Navi, that is, of course. And we'll try again in another round. But the idea was that a lot of the times Astralis were clearing out top mid in, I wasn't, you know, particularly counting grenades, but I think that they were less. They would less often molly out the cubby. And so the player in the cubby could sit there through the entire period of bracket control, fake into B hit, into lane hit, and eventually find a peak or just get info at top bracket. And that was what kept getting utilized versus Astralis. Seems like such an innocuous position, right? Like a position that actually doesn't matter that much. But we don't know if Astralis have really solved those issues, and if that can continue to be a problem, especially if they know that Navi don't often use it versus them. And we'll see. Another go of it here as Astralis with that 3 rifle by just a round to go has put Navi on in this double save situation.
Tough spot for Navi and a good chance for Astralis to make back some of that money.
Would have been huge, actually, if Navi could have even forced one rebuy here, because, you know, it would have been right up into an AK.
It almost came down to it. Dupree finds an opening headshot. The pistol player's meant to be taken down this time. Does Xyp9x clear his closest corner? No. Oh, but he then goes at it. A little pirouette to try and keep him alive. But, I mean, jokes aside, Navi, man advantage. Electronic doesn't have armor to go with this AK.
Angle. Oh, he actually falls off.
And then the CZ comes in. Perfecto.
One left.
It's all on Magisk. We saw him with a 1v3, and he's going to have to do it again here on Inferno, and he's being wrapped around Navi with a robbery.
No way they pulled that out. I thought for sure that was a wash. They go 1 for 1 on the trades. They take A pretty quickly. They get into library control. They're very smart from Perfecto, not overextending in that position and realizing that they might come and lurk there. Just waited long enough. He catches the timing, but he also creates it. Give him some credit.
Big moment.
And this is...
Look, I swear he saw him there.
He fell asleep at the wheel a little bit, right? He didn't turn fully, and he didn't peek it properly the first time around.
And you could argue same kind of issue for Dupree inside of library. Goes to clear out, but doesn't go the furthest corner.
He wasn't going to clear it. He was looking back into CT, right?
Yep.
Had not even a thought that someone could have already been inside the library. Xyp9x, on the other hand, he must clear that angle every single time.
All right, well, Navi, a couple of creepy crawlers in the corners across this map, and they've got themselves a 1-round lead. Can't question it. They pulled it out of thin air, but that's what they did to close map 1. So 5 rounds deep on this CT side. They've got 3 picked up AKs versus the 5 of Astralis here in the 6th.
It's always an annoying thing when you're on the T side and you see that the other team is going 3 players on banana, taking control of it, and you don't quickly go for like a Hall's take or top bracket. But still, with some time, Astralis will eventually grab it. They molly out the cubby here. They clear out some of these close positions. There's nobody to smoke this out just yet. It looks like, yeah, they'll finally threaten it. And of course, this will just be a small distraction for the T side as they reroute. Now, Simple here, he's about to reclaim top mid control, which can free up a rotation from Bit to go over towards B if they want to. And we'll see if he actually goes the extra distance. Being a little bit timid. There's only 2 players in the site. If Astralis move fast enough, they're in the money.
Here it comes. No rotate, not even close. Still no movement, and oh my, Boomage, blind as a bat. Perfecto tries to come out, gets a kill with him, but that's a singular kill. Bomb plant for Astralis, and because Navi weren't even close to come over, no bolstering of that B bomb site means we are tied at 3.
You know, Navi on CT side on Nuke, they never play without information. Simple is always the guy to go out and get that. He's in a number of positions in one round, all over the place, making sure that Navi knows something. But more than that, he's finding safe openings, and it feels like he doesn't have that same level of confidence on Inferno. It doesn't really go for the info in the exact same way, but here they could have benefited greatly from it. This is a position where Bit could have supported with flashes to deny the entrance into the B site. And, you know, playing in a standard spot like that, top of the second oranges, eating flashes, no cover to use. Of course, you're going to die with the full exec that comes in. But this is a cut and dry round from Astralis with a punish on the fact that Navi did not respond to them at top mid and on the top of Banana, and then went through with an execute they knew was going to work. They knew this was going to work. So now it's about what the response will be from Navi.
What do we expect? What do we get to see?
Simple cannot play scared. You know, don't want to put tons of emphasis on him because it's also going to be B players. But sometimes as the Opper, he will be the B player, right? I want to see a very complicated itinerary from Simple in terms of rotations almost every single round. Whether it's these deep peaks or on top of Banana, constantly changing it up in the exact same fashion that we see from him on Nuke.
Well, you know what? Bit kind of has that complicated itinerary. The last time we saw them on Inferno, it was him that was moved all over the map. So we'll see if they can both do it. And we'll see if this is going to be costly. Bit, double kill. Stops that bomb. Lays down the incendiary and dives back beyond the balk. Sure enough, Simple at his side.
Oh, that's so much info. And you could see that Perfecto instantly. He's like, okay, well, this is a spot where we know they're light on the Banana control with the bomb going towards Halls, but he's not in a position to go and take over control of it. They're down a player. Off shot through the wall. Simple sees him from the balcony. That's just a warning shot, but it counts for damage, whether it's confirmed or not.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. Dupree sent limping back. We've got 2 Ts. The top of mid. Boomich looking for a little bit of information. Still, of course, time for Astralis to move this back to the B site. They've got the utility for a full-blown execute. And because Dupree's so close to death, I mean, maybe he sticks around to Balk, keeps these guys committed, and then we get this other 2-player play towards B instead. And that's exactly what's going to happen, but it's still coming in through a form of a split. If Glaive gets this kill, then suddenly we've got a very precarious spot for Perfecto. Instead, it gets unraveled before the ball ever gets rolling. Smoke down both directions. Perfecto plays in front, and Device gets that kill. Now he can take a chance, but with no teammate nearby, Boomich is going to challenge this, and he stops the plant right in its tracks.
Yeah, good play.
This one fizzles out.
That's actually just a small thing, an individual decision, but, you know, Perfecto has no excuse for taking that fight, right? Because he could get the kill, right? But who cares if he does? What he needs to do is delay. And so making noise and responding to Device, putting shots through the smoke, only jeopardizes the rotations. It forces Boomich to have to make a play like that. But that's not a position where he actually wants to spam back. When Device wildly sprays through the smoke to try to get that kill, you ignore it. You're in the winning position. That is not your fight to take at all. And it's really Device that's happy to hear the bullets coming back, so he has a chance to get back into the round.
Yeah, hones in on him. Don't take that bait. Could have been a worse situation for Navi. All things considered, content with the pickup.
That was an insane sequence from Bit in the halls, right? It totally changes the course of the round. If he goes 1 for 1, I mean, Astralis, like, it's hard to even say Navi are winning at that point.
So 4v5 round win from Navi to take the 4-3 lead.
And poor Electronic looked like he was checking radar for a minute there.
We've had 4 rounds go back and forth between these teams. Who's going to stabilize? Who's going to establish that little bit of momentum? And when?
Spot of Hall's control. Dupree likes to go down to the bottom of Boiler and just hold this hard right angle onto the site, like right here. Just sits there and waits for a mistake to be made. Bracket control get taken over. Simple finally going for this re-aggression, and he does punish as soon as Glaive is going to set up for nades. This is going to show him something. A lot about the intentions, in fact.
They retreat off of it. Dupree lingers a bit.
I think they make a little bit of noise, but I don't know if Bit's going to try to rotate.
Well, We saw them come at this B bomb site with few seconds left once upon a time. And they're going to do it yet again. Boomich is boosted up on the cross. Magis is going to take heavy damage. It's all on Boomich. One kill, and he knows Dupree's just down beneath him. Can't find it through the smoke. Still, there is time to plant here. Boomich is going to maintain deep control on coffins. This relegates Astralis to the inside of the bomb site in their entirety. They sit within it. 3 flashbangs for Navi to try to get this retake, but Device picks up a critical kill, keeps it even. And he's standing fully exposed and taps in. Bit trades.
2v2.
Zipix up high, and that's gonna deny Bit a chance at the retake. Simple tag by the two of them. Astralis back at it as the game's tied at 4.
And we could talk about the strategy and how they wanted to come into the retake and what the protocols were, but listen, they flashed Device, okay? They knew where he was. They sacrificed Boomich to try to go for this kill, and then he just hits this shot.
First bullet.
They instantly maintain numbers. It's still a little bit messy. Outside of that one kill, it's a bit messy for Navi on the retake, considering they had the player advantage. But Astralis, they get that first entry, and we know how good Magisk is at entering onto Banana. It's like one of his specialties. Even though we see Device come out as the first player to top Banana early in the round, when it comes to those late round executes, Magisk is so good at the 180 from oranges up into CT spawn. Here he only gets one of the kills, but that's just enough, apparently. Now Navi don't have much money to work with. Og in play, Bit's got a gun, armor purchase, and it is the full investment, though.
And only one player at the B site initially. So Astralis is going to find this Banana control with no resistance. Almost had a chance to drop Perfecto off of it, but instead he lays down his smoke. Slows things down for a moment.
Almost scarier than gun rounds, honestly.
Yeah.
Almost scarier.
Well, if we've learned anything in this series, it's exactly that.
Yeah, you know that the CTs are just being so sweaty right now. You know they're going to deny a certain amount of control. You're never going to feel comfortable. You know they're going to randomly gamble. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Wow.
Bomb gets dropped. The player looking to throw grenades. He does get traded from the back, but again, the intentions are known for the CTs, or for the Ts. It's going to make them somewhat uncomfortable. Magis trying to take the lead here.
Yeah, going for the solo show as the bomb comes over. Boy. Tags Boomich down to 27. Good flash. The pistol of Boomich is going to find the headshot. Now we've got Glaive with that bomb in a recovery mission.
Still up there.
He gets dinked. This is working out wonderfully for Navi, but can Boomich really hang on? He knows there's another player here. That's both players of Astralis. 10 seconds to spare. Molotov goes deep. Boomich ahead of it, dies to the wall bang, and Perfecto can't wide swing. But Glaive, he's going to get flanked by Bit. There's the headshot. There's the 5th round. There's the force buy upset.
That's a lobster pinch from Navi. You have to give full credit to Boomich. For Boomich and Perfecto. The roof flash that he threw into the site as the rotator, that's the one you'd normally see from Bit as the guy who's coming from Arch to try to support. He does perfect here. Of course, the kills that come down are great mechanically, but the flash to deny Magis from coming forward, and then he stays there. He doesn't immediately fall back. Boomich stays out there for the information. As soon as they actually feign the threaten, they throw the Molotov behind him. He doesn't fall back through it. He's still in that same position. They finally spam him down, but he gets information. He's delayed. He's also got a kill. And then, of course, the last 2 players come in. And what's really important in that 2v2 is just to try to attack when the bomb is getting planted, because the time on the clock means the Ts have no choice but to put it down. And as soon as someone puts down the bomb, you've only got one person who has their gun out. A Navi pounce. This is 3 ecos that we've seen from Navi in this series so far, across 2 maps versus Astralis. The same cannot be said for them.
No, they've got away with 1. I think the count is exactly that. 3-1 to the favor of Navi.
3 to 3. Ecos might not be fair, but a force buy, like 4 pistols and armor.
Yeah.
A steep firepower disadvantage.
Your implications there. We got 2 players boosted onto the porch, one of which going to play on the monkey bars. 2 of which on the monkey bars. Grenades come over the top, and it's balcony in question. Electronic dives in. This spot from Simple could catch them off guard immensely. It's, a falling Magis.
Where's his teammate?
Bit.
Wait, what?
He gets deegged in the middle. The replays will tell us the tale, but so far the A site begins to fall. It's Electronic who has to put the weight of it on his shoulders. He has 3 bullets left in the gun, so good thing Perfecto comes in. Dupree with the deeg. V3. First shots miss, and of course, Boomich flying through the skies, aerodynamic as ever. Navi 6-4 lead.
What happened? How does Glaive get this kill? How does Simple get shot in the side of the head up top when? What happens here?
Looks like he dies.
Oh, he's getting shot from lane, but
Lane
it's
side.
from the boiler. It's from the boiler. That's why Bit
Right.
cannot see it. Okay, all right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering, you cannot run up lane without Bit seeing that, but the setup works out well. Electronic actually prepared for the Halls pop. The read is correct for the CTs. They felt it coming and they were right.
And that smoke that kind of pops in front of him works perfect because then he's sectioned off away from Pit. Yeah, it allows Astralis to find a little bit of footing, but then it's the next step forward that cuts them down.
It's so important, I think. That's something that doesn't get talked about too much, but for the IGLs to have a correct read or two, you know, despite winning rounds, if you have the wrong setup, you might feel lucky or relieved to win those rounds, but for the confidence of the IGL to know the strat that's coming, finally be correct about it, have the setup, and everything goes as planned. Everybody has faith in the IGL. The IGL himself is going to feel rewarded about that. This is, I think, a really, really important part of the game. We definitely see a good call here made for Navi in that regard. It's not going to phase Glaive, of course, at all, but it does result in the round one.
Ooh, Perfecto and Boomich. Rock solid B hold. Money being made by the MP9 as well. A single dink seems to come the other way, but a full house from the B site defense and an empty hand from Astralis in that one. Yeah. Understandably, with the lackluster guns, but now we've got to buy.
Sometimes we just dart by these kinds of rounds because they just are not too easy to win, but it's the amount of damage that they do that matters the most, and they don't get any of that.
And that round, the reward for that back and forth fight we had. Remember,
True.
There was 6 rounds, won back and forth before Navi get the chance to stabilize. And with that chance comes that reward you just saw.
This is a much better CT side than you could have anticipated from Navi so far here versus Astralis. Definitely not favored. I would have
Again.
absolutely given this map over. Yeah, they're just doing the exact same setup. Now, of course, you have the added benefit of just being a good setup, right? Like the only issue, it's not like the Virtus Pro lane setup with someone on the hall on top of the roof like they had earlier, where you can see over top of the arch smoke, so your arch player can just leave if they smoke lane out and go arch. But it's just not something that Astralis are doing very often, so it's not a setup that you want to employ very often. But here versus Halls, as we just saw, it's actually quite good. Now, I don't know. I do wonder why they wanted to copy and paste this, knowing they're going to a full rifle again, what the idea is here, and how it'll work versus a round that's not a Halls pop. But significant pressure on both sides of the map. Whoa, hold on.
Big gap.
Yeah.
Intentional?
I don't know, but look at this. We've got Halls and Banana being taken at the same time. They are really confident that Navi are going to try to get back map control, but they're not doing it in the Halls.
No.
And it's 35 seconds. They're not feeling comfortable. And look who's feeling comfortable. Electronic has moved his way over to the B site, but he's not correct about this read.
Aye. Device trying to sell it at the final hurdle. Let's see it, Bit. He's got the back of Zipix and a second follow-up damage. Perfecto shuts down that B play, but Simple, his back is open, and they don't expect this position again. Simple, he stays up top, 10 seconds, and Dupree, he could scramble for the bomb, but he realizes there's just no time. Navi, with Simple as the insurance policy, sits on this A site, bleeds out that clock, and doubles the round count of Astralis.
Oh my god, man, that was such a tense round. I mean, it comes down to some interesting positions that you don't often see between both teams. First of all, Astralis splitting up for the map control, and then Bit this close at mid without actually having any support. He's not just sitting in the cubby. He's committed. So he's giving himself a good opportunity to like get one kill for sure and then have some kind of edge in the next fight, but not guarantee that refrag. But they were willing to take that risk. And they had rotated 3 over towards B as well. And then Simple, they just didn't expect him to be up in his treehouse again.
Yeah, he's hanging out, right?
Attack timeout called here for Astralis. And yeah, things start to change when it feels like no matter what you're doing, you're getting called out. But this is turning into a commanding lead for Navi.
And they tried to bring it towards that B site. They got Electronic to successfully rotate over.
Yeah.
It was just 2 landmines on A.
Dude, the story for Navi last year was like consistently good placings, but the big wins were not there outside of Kato early on.
Yeah.
You know,
remember, they topped their blast group as well. The
Right.
first event, we saw them.
and that's first through third. This is the finals of the global finals of the culmination of the year.
But again, at the start of the calendar, a strong start for Navi. And not actually, excuse me, not a strong start. The fact that they have ramped up over the event. There was a period where everybody thought these guys were going down.
Oh, yeah, it was so rough in the first. I've honestly never seen them play that badly in the first 2 days. And their game has just elevated to an incredible level since then.
Boomic gonna eat a couple flashes, still manages a kill alongside Perfecto, who seems to have been flashed in the process. That AK picked up by Dupree. He posts as bomb is planted. We get Navi crawling over, but I mean, he's held into his angle. Boomic, like a boulder, just locks this in. Double Deagle versus 5, and it's headshot after headshot, kill after kill here for Navi, now leading 9-4 on this CT side.
Yeah. You just can't write it off, man. You can't write it off. We get a bit check. He's just, feels like he's just doing so well as well. I mean, things just are starting to get calmer and calmer here for Navi. The trades are coming through. They look very comfortable. The support is great. Wow. You know, it's a very demanding position where the Perfecto is at any one moment, because as soon as they turn the corner on B, he needs to be able to flash in, spam through as he is. But he always seems to be in that spot, in CT spawn, as they're turning the corner, ready to assist in with Boomic, who, of course, is putting up good numbers himself.
The chances are waning for Astralis on this T side.
Can't wait to see the interesting stats that come out of this match. Boomic is 16-5 in this game.
Above and beyond.
Haters, be quiet. And Navi on fire. Electronic pushing through, and he sprays 3 down. And he does so much damage to the third guy that this is already Astralis with hopes waning.
Feels like it's been iced out before it even had a chance to begin. They just wanted to step into the apartments. Interested in window shopping. Shutters closed by Electronic. Still a chance. But how many times are we going to watch Astralis just change direction into this B site to walk into the rock that is Boomic?
It's tough because they haven't even been able to win versus 2 players. No overstacks, no deep control. It's just been Perfecto, Boomic working together, putting up more than 1 kill each, allowing the retakes or holds to be very easy. Simple this time. He's committed over towards the B site. The bomb walks its way back to A. There's just no great options here for Astralis. They're going to give it a chance.
Boomic, he's right where he needs to be. And with his form, he's going to peek. 2 headshots and the third. Boomic stops them all.
The Wicked Whip with confidence. Boomic comes through. He recognizes right there. If you're foggy on a day and you're in that position, you don't come forward. You wait for the fight to come to you. You know they're setting up for grenades, but you don't go out and do it yourself. You don't just finish the duel. But today, he's got his captain's hat on. He's playing with confidence.
Yeah, he is very much in the game. And what we know about Boomic is that when he's playing well, he's calling well.
He's calling well. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that is on full display here as Navi take to the double digits. A final round on this T side. Boomic the Boulder barrels forward in that last one.
When's the last time Navi have had this good of a half versus Astralis on Inferno, CT side? I don't even know. Another kill to open up the round. Simple. He hasn't even had to make noise so far. He's just maintained a positive score line with just low kills, decently low deaths.
Oh, but Device with an opening. Smashes Boomic in this one, who's going to have to call from the sidelines for the final round of the CT side. A smoke spam from Perfecto. A position we've seen Astralis in all too often. Footing on the B site with a bomb plant, but a single smoke is all they have to hold on with. We've got the double incendiary for the retake. And Navi, you know they're going to play this.
Late to the information, Bit will make his way over. They've got a lot of nades to work with. They can smoke Banana out.
That's exactly what happens. Cuts off Dupree. We see him come back, currently walking through it. Plays on the forefront of it. Then the incendiaries are thrown forward, but neither of them are on the money. In fact, Dupree, he cuts down 2, and this could be it. Astralis looking for the 5th, but Simple, he's got that deagle. And it's a close 1v3. He gets all the kills he needs, but it's a round for Astralis nonetheless. And the individual power is there. Only 6 rounds away from the win. And so Navi have Astralis against the wall at the moment. That back and forth round count in the middle of the half, Mohan, that was going to set the pace. It was going to set the tone of who stabilized. And in the end, that was very much Navi.
Yeah, definitely. I got a little excited at the end. I thought he had time to defuse. Oh, that would have been insane, but he gets the 3-1 Deegs. Ultimately, the 5th round for Astralis. Hey, maybe it's a curse. 11-4 is the scoreline that Zonic loves to see. He's, of course, on the better end of it by the way that he's characterized it, but now he gets the 5th round, the cursed 5th round. So we'll see what happens in this game. It's unclear at this moment. Yes, it's a big lead, but it just doesn't mean anything. For those of you who've been watching this kind of matchup over the years, it just does not mean a lot. Astralis are definitely capable of coming back into this. Navi know that for sure. Yes, they played well. Yes, they're upper map, but it's a grand final. This is Astralis specialty.
Flash over the top from the CT side, and then the terrorists send one of their own. Good trade back by Apps, but Deviced. That's the clean headshot they need. And you can see how that serves as a trigger. Forces Navi's feet into this A site. Magis taking a dink. That actually buys a little bit of a timing here for Navi, but an attack from the back. Perfecto's been cut off from the pack. And Boomich, he's just going to get that bomb plant. So already somewhat of a win here for Navi. Let's see if they can lock down the post plant. Bit, he's gone unchecked. Magis gets a kill in the middle, but it's Bit with 2, and that's huge. It's low health for a couple of these players. Bit still dodging shots. 4 HP, 4 kills. Has he done enough? Perfecto in the apartments. Glaive with no kit on him. And that bomb's at the halfway point. Glaive, he's sticking this. 5 seconds left over. Perfecto extends. He comes off for the kill, and Navi 11-5.
No kills in vain for Bit. I hope he's not working minimum wage, because he has been working overtime here on CT side. That was so nuts, and we're pairing it with this T side now after the pistol. How is he doing so much from Graveyard? It's not a spot that offers you a lot. You can't fall back from here. Yes, it's impenetrable, which is nice, but in a post-plant situation, once you get spotted, you're probably going to die most of the time, but his aim was immaculate. And it's the 2 pistols that puts Navi now at 11-5 after very decent trades in favor of Astralis to kick the round off.
Oh, that's got to be a lump in the throat for Astralis.
Sure.
Tough way to lose it.
Very fair.
Early kills, had Navi scrambled. But it's Bit's big moment. And this is a player who did not come in as the 6th man roster with initial success, but struggles. And we've seen him claw his way back into relevance. Magisk with a little magic pops in and takes one with him.
Yeah, that's something. Looks like the execute might continue forward here. Simple bomb, of course, we're watching that. Decides to go back towards mid, maybe throw a flash potentially. There is this pinch from Lane and Arch from the CTs. They throw some nades as well to get info. And of course, this could mean for Navi one of 2 things. That Astralis are going to hard rotate, or it doesn't really matter. That even if they do hard rotate, it's better for us to go forward than back. Okay.
He's done it again.
That's an entry, yeah.
The jumping headshots, the name of the game. It's going to get that bomb in. Navi now comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, they got the info just in time, but they couldn't do anything with it. They die falling back into spawn. And this just means it's, I mean, this just means the next round is just going to be that much easier, right? Astralis need every little bit that they can get with these pistols, SMGs, whatever. If they're going to mount some sort of comeback, it's going to start by trying to secure an eco out of Navi as soon as possible. But it doesn't look like that's the case. Grim Reaper comes knocking. Not as Vincier take 12. got a no money play one more time here for Astralis. But this is not a situation where they're just thinking about damage. They're thinking about round win every single time.
They have to. At a 7-round deficit, they got to play it for its most. We've got Mac 10s, of course, still across the board for Navi. And with this much of a lead, with this much of a confidence, map win in your back pocket, you know what Navi can do. They could very well just slap a disrespect sticker on this round and get real wild. We'll see. The stakes are high.
Navi.
They don't want any of these riflers to die, but you never know.
Astralis in the Blast Fall Finals faltered to Vitality, having had to play a best of 3 earlier that day versus Big. Said they didn't have enough left in them to win in the second match. Navi has already won a best of 3 today.
Yeah. And against who other than that very same Vitality. But oh, Device! 2 MP9 kills up here in the apartments. Simple gets it back.
That's pit open, though. And
yeah.
TTs are rotating. It's scary as it's 4-3, but there's a good amount of control here for the Ts.
And a testament to the uphill battle that Astralis were fighting this round. Even with Device getting a 5 versus 3 moment off of that MP9, the rest of the team just don't have enough.
Oh.
Or do they?
Wait, there's a Halls flank as well. Okay, now the CTs are getting into better spots. It looks like we've got Graveyard eliminated for the T positions, and Dupree's, he can cause a distraction, right?
Yeah, or that thing sometimes just shoots slugs. We'll see if it can rail a headshot, perhaps into the pit player. There's no way he wins the engagement versus Simple. Zipic's low HP. Electronic, he's going to take a tidbit of damage. Simple over towards Arch, and there's a player right behind him.
Wait,
what a whip around!
Oh, he heard it. He just reacted. Zipix ran onto the site to try to be a good teammate and trade, and Simple just listened.
And there it is. The Mac 10 swap worked out for Dupree. Gets a parting gift, but who else do you want in those high-octane, important moments other than Simple and Electronic? They combined to close the post plant, cutting off the Arch player, and then just cracking the whip.
Crazy. I mean, he knows he's in danger. You've just got to stay sharp in these moments, of course. And it just goes to show you how dangerous Astralis can be at any turn. That 2K MP9 spray down on Halls. It made things really, really sketchy. But still, the lead continues. 3 rounds away from closing this out. Device offing this time around. Electronic taking forward aggressive control to the top of Banana, and lots of pressure. Oof. Glaive gets traded 1 for 1. There's 3 on the site. They might not know. Now, the 2 grenades that come late will tell them. But they're botched grenades. They go behind the car. They don't do any damage. And Perfecto will threaten with a frontside smoke. Try to deny them some information.
Really fast first engagement. Information exchanged.
They made the call fast.
Kills traded.
Op up on Device again.
And a 4v2 towards the A site.
Trained on this angle on Arch.
Easy first pickup for Device. No flash, no assistance, no double peek.
They didn't know about it.
Just Perfecto popped. Magis to the bicycle. And Simple's gonna get boosted. This could give him an unorthodox angle, but that grenade, nice damage. Still doesn't stop him.
3v3. Device, he could be behind an Arch smoke. He's got a very strong line here.
Ooh, but there's a gap. And that gap could work wonderfully. He doesn't see the T drop down. That's bit inside a pit.
They could very easily run into this.
They've got to be cautious with the decisions they make. Bomb plant comes through from Simple. 3 versus 3. And again, with such a little margin of error, do Astralis let this round slip? That save has to be hot in their minds. And with that Molotov right there,
they're just waiting.
It could be enough. They waited out. There's no kit currently on these players. They look to re-engage. Another grenade, and that one's on the money. Simple finds the headshot. Now it's all in from short side, and they have to call it off. They have to concede a 14th round to Navi.
Oh my god, it's actually happening for Navi. Potentially here, they could close this out. Definitely not a favorite in the tournament with Vitality in it. If it wasn't for Vitality, then you'd think the next best competition, of course, would be them. But look at this. A key frag, and now potentially an op for Simple to grab. I don't know if he won't necessarily always get this, but we saw versus Simple how we saw Simple versus Liquid, how he picked up the op and had an unbelievable amount of impact on T-side Inferno, which is so rare. Today, he'll continue on with the AK. And I guess all that matters at this point for Navi is that it's Device who can't afford an up. Scoring between 44 and 69 ADR here for Astralis. Utility damage through the roof for Perfecto. A great map for him. Kill-wise, damage-wise, as a CT side rotator, support for Boomich. His mechanics look sharp. Everybody is contributing. It has been a team effort. So we run this clock down on the pause. Potentially one last try here. A dignified attempt at the comeback from Astralis. As their star dims.
And dignity on the line, because a score like this on Inferno, a map that we have criticized fairly from Navi, just at even the beginning of this event. It is not Bit at the top of the scoreboard, but he is definitely one of those shining pieces. This is the only map we see him on, and he does it all. Glaive's low HP, trying to play around on Banana for that information, takes more damage and more damage until finally he's forced back, which means Navi have Banana control off of the back of this utility. But they leave it.
Yeah, they leave it. They clear it out. They mollied sandbags. They spotted it. They start to fall back. The Straw is playing without information. They don't have good guns. Glaive is low. Arch is wide open here. They don't know what Navi want to do. They're just gambling and hoping it's B.
And they are wrong. Navi knocking on the door of middle.
Simple, letting him know how much map control he has. And that they are a slave to that information. It's electronic, prying eyes here on the archway. Magisk in jeopardy.
Device and Magis, the last two players to hang on to frag grenades. Maybe they soften away some of the HP of Navi on their approach. Bit, ooh, doesn't thoroughly clear that corner. And now that's an AK offered over.
Graveyard.
Boomich, he's coming in quick. Gets that kill, Device goes down. The A site's crumbled, and all the while, Simple is just unraveling the B-hole. This is a 15th round for Navi, no doubt. 10 map, match, and tournament points. A masterclass on Inferno.
Oh my God, Simple. They literally took both sites at the same time. At this point, it doesn't even matter if Simple gets a kill. He's going to get info on so many players, but he also just assassinates them both. They got to be excited about that one. As we touch on 15, just not the scoreline you would ever expect on Inferno versus Astralis. I thought with certainty we were going to get Dust 2, as well as they played on Nuke.
You'd think. What's wild again is ever since that back and forth spree of rounds came to a close, it has been nothing but Navi. 11 of the last 12 rounds. Not a single CT round win.
If you think Astralis are going to give up in this moment, this is a $400,000 match. This is a match for all the prestige from all of the tournaments that they played with Blast this last year. The culmination of it all. What do you think Astralis, that didn't perform an 8-round comeback to win their first major, are going to give up when they're down 10 rounds versus a team that they regularly beat? That they are facing now from the upper bracket? You have to be kidding yourselves.
Navi with that dream run from the lower side, taking a page out of Astralis' book. That is the way Astralis qualified for this global finals. They won the fall finals just a couple months ago. Navi getting in just by way of points. Scraping by across the year to get themselves here. Facing that elimination from every best of 3 following Liquid's loss, and now they have a man advantage in this 5v4.
It potentially begins. Dupree's down.
And they let it stew.
3 players move over. Bomb gets picked up, but they have eyes on B, thinking about taking this back. A nightmare for Astralis again, playing without info.
They let that reality sink in.
Guessing game for Glaive.
He's going to try to get ahead of Electronic at the B site, who's coming in with a bit of utility. That was a good job at drawing the rotate, just like the last round. They're trying to repeat the success. And this time, close corner clear. Bit's going to have a chance to entry in this bomb site. Magisk on Pit. A couple of players line up, but he only takes one. It has to be the Maverick. Right now, right here, 15 seconds, and he dies to Perfecto. Glaive and Zipix still with a bit of a chance, but they're not going to stop that bomb plant. It's a post-plant retake instead. Upgrade from the UMP to the AK. $400,000 on the line for this retake. That is the difference. And it's all on Glaive. Low HP for 3. Navi, they've got it. Navi have done it. Your Blast Global Finals Grand Champs.
They finally do it. They stand in the face of the odds. They come through the lower bracket. They start off a despondent, losing, poorly playing Navi, with Bit not showing up on Inferno, with the whole team failing, Boomich behind, and then Boomich, Electronic, they come into the fray. Simple stays consistent. Bit shows up, and they conquer their Inferno and beat the statistics.
That's right. The Undertaker and his team, they get the better of every single challenger sent into that lower bracket. A fresh-faced Team Liquid is the one who sent them there in a 2-0 fashion. Two of the best players in the world between Simple and Electronic, but a system that we questioned. A 6-man roster that could have upended everything they worked for. Simple, #2 player in the world, but the #1 team here.